Today we're going to talk about something that touches a lot of families but can be really tough to navigate: end-stage dementia. It's a deeply personal and challenging journey, so our goal here is to just walk through it together with a lot of clarity and compassion. So here's our game plan. First, we'll get on the same page about what end-stage dementia actually is. Then, we'll talk about what to expect day to day. After that, we'll cover this really crucial idea of shifting to comfort care. We'll also get into why planning ahead is so important. And finally, and this is a big one, we'll talk about taking care of the caregivers.
All right, so let's start with the basics. What exactly do we mean when we say end-stage dementia? It's really important to have a solid understanding of this before we dive any deeper.
Okay, so this is the final chapter of the disease. At this point, the brain has unfortunately suffered some pretty significant and permanent damage. And while the whole journey with dementia can last for many, many years, this last stage is actually the shortest, usually lasting somewhere between 1 to 2 years. It's really a time where the need for care becomes constant, pretty much 24/7.
What's really interesting is how different types of dementia, like Alzheimer's or Lewy body, they all start out looking pretty different. One might start with memory loss, another with big changes in behavior. But as you can see here, by the time they reach the final stage, they start to look very much alike. And that's because the damage to the brain has become so widespread that those early distinctions just kind of fade away, leading to a very similar set of challenges for everyone.
So, with that in mind, let's talk about the practical side of things. What does this stage actually look like? Knowing the symptoms isn't about getting scared. It's about being prepared and being able to better understand what your loved one is actually going through.
So you have to ask, right? What does all this brain damage really mean for a person's daily life? How does it actually show up in the way they move and communicate and just exist in the world? Well, the impact it's profound. Physically, a person might lose the ability to do basic things like walk or sit up or even hold their own head up. Swallowing can become really difficult. Communication breaks down, sometimes completely, where they might not be able to speak or even understand what's being said. This means they're going to need round-the-clock help with absolutely everything: eating, bathing, you name it. And you might also see some behavioral changes like confusion or agitation, along with a lot more sleeping and a higher risk of infections.
This brings us to what I think is one of the most important ideas we're going to talk about today. It's this huge shift in the entire goal of care. This is a real turning point.
Just look at this comparison. It says it all. In the beginning, everything is about fighting the disease, right? We're using medication to slow it down, trying to keep someone as independent as possible. But in the end stage, when we know a cure isn't on the table, the focus does a complete 180. It shifts entirely to comfort. That means prioritizing things like pain relief over aggressive treatments and focusing on emotional support. It means avoiding stressful medical tests that aren't going to change the outcome anyway. The goal is no longer about adding more days to life, but adding more life, more quality to their days. So, what does comfort care actually look like? Well, it's not about grand gestures. It's often about the small, beautiful things. It could be as simple as playing their favorite music from when they were young, or creating a calm, quiet space for them. It's about making sure they're physically comfortable. Things like having clean sheets or moist lips. It's about gentle time with family or even a beloved pet. And this is also where hospice care can be an absolute game changer, providing expert support to help you make all these comfort-focused decisions. Thinking about all this naturally leads us to our next topic, the power of planning. It might feel overwhelming, but taking these steps early on is one of the greatest gifts you can give. It ensures a person's wishes are heard and honored, which brings a sense of dignity and peace for everybody.
And look, this is about so much more than just signing legal papers. Yes, you need to sort out the finances, for sure, but the real heart of it is having those deep conversations about care. Does this person value comfort over simply living longer no matter the cost? What are the little things that bring them joy? By figuring out their favorite songs or foods now, you can keep honoring who they are later, even when they can no longer tell you. It's about preserving their voice. Okay, now we need to shift our focus to the people who are the backbone of this whole journey, but who are so often forgotten, the caregivers. Taking care of them isn't a bonus, it's absolutely essential.
Here's the bottom line. You just can't pour from an empty cup. It's impossible. Being a caregiver is physically and emotionally draining, so please find support for yourself, whether it's therapy or a support group with people who get it. Prioritizing your own sleep, food, and a little exercise isn't selfish, it's what will give you the strength to keep going. And don't forget, even if it feels like they can't understand you, just talking to your loved one, hearing your voice, can be a huge comfort for them and for you too.
This quote, it just gets right to the heart of everything, doesn't it? It's such a powerful reminder that behind all the symptoms, behind the disease, there is still a person with feelings. They might not be able to talk about them, but they can still feel love, and they absolutely still need it.
So I'll leave you with this question to carry with you. When all those things we associate with a person, their memories, their stories, when those start to fade, how do we keep honoring the life they lived and the person who is still right there in front of us? It's a question that helps us look past the medical chart and focus on what truly matters at the end of the day: dignity, love, and that incredible human spirit. Thanks for joining me.